So I've been thinking about buying FSD, and I really didn't think that I would be considering it at this point. It's still not really like full self-driving unsupervised like it had been promised many, many years ago. But the more and more that I've been driving with it, and the more that I've gotten used to having it in my life, because I've had a few trials, got new cars, and new cars come with a month of FSD, or 3 months if you use my referral link. The more and more it's changed my expectations of like how much mental energy and physical energy I need to use while driving. Is it worth $8,000? I don't really know, but it's getting to the point where I'm like, man, when I don't have FSD, I really, really would like to have FSD. Let's go take a drive and see what I'm talking about. Oh, also, this video was sponsored by VanSpace, maker of this office chair, but we'll get to that later. So I feel like most people who don't follow Tesla super closely don't realize how capable this system is. So I'm gonna show you. All right, so say I wanna go anywhere, like a long distance road trip, 8 hours of driving, or just somewhere around town. FSD just lets you type in where you wanna go. I wanna go to the climbing gym right now, and it'll take you. There's a lot of supervision you have to do. The system still does dangerously wrong things that are very not human-like. So I plugged in the climbing gym that I want to go to. All I have to do is press and hold this on the screen. My hands and feet are off of any of the inputs to the vehicle, and it's gonna back out of the space for me. And it's just gonna go on and drive to where it needs to go. Now, I used to live in the greater Phoenix area, and FSD was really good on most of those roads. I've since moved away to a slightly more rural area, much smaller city, and FSD is much worse in this city. There are a lot of one-way roads, there are train tracks that FSD basically just ignores, even if the like oncoming train sign is on. So I have to take over way more in this area than I did in a more populated city. That was a little strange. It took me down a very different path than the navigation initially said, but I'm sure it'll be fine. But when I'm not like making videos and talking like this, what typically happens on my drives when I have FSD, and sometimes I've subscribed to it, sometimes I've gotten free trials, is I put in the information, I put in the address, and I just sit and I observe, watch out, try to make sure things are safe, and FSD goes. And don't think for 1 second I'm like some, FSD apologist who ignores every issue and all that sort of stuff. When it was FSD 12 and below, so like the entire time, even when I had a free trial, I would never use it because it was so bad. It was like impressive tech, yes, but like practically when using it, it was so dangerous, it was so uncomfortable, and it was, look, the FSD, the car slowed down because that person cut in. They didn't really look, but it was all good. The car handled it really appropriately. But yeah, so I'm not some FSD fanboy. And in fact, even now, like the thing that I had always said is when FSD is good enough where I can fall asleep and like purposely go to sleep or like do work or watch a movie or whatever, that's when I would buy it. But having lived with this version of FSD, that is what I consider like good enough where, I drive a lot. I frequently drive 2+ hours, one way. So that's typically like, 4.5, 6 hours of driving in a day sometimes. And having something that does this is incredibly, it changes the way that I think about the trip. Like I don't dread it. It's just like, I'm going to put on a podcast and I'm going to sit and basically be a passenger who's, extra observant and ready to take over at any time. I have gotten so used to the fact that these cars can do all of this, map out all of this information, be a relatively comfortable driver for me, even though I'm fully in charge. If you followed me in this channel, you'll know that I've had quite a few health issues over the past 4 or 5 years. That's another primary reason that I've been genuinely considering getting FSD, because I have good days and bad days, and I don't always know if it's, I'm gonna have to drive on a day where I'm not feeling very well, on a day that I'm not feeling very good. And having something like this that handles the majority of, the cognitive load and the physical load that driving takes, it's genuinely really helpful and has, helped me go to doctor's appointments and get back and all this sort of stuff that sometimes I'm perfectly capable of driving to the doctors, but I'm just so tired that I don't want to, or, all that sort of stuff. So there's like a level of accessibility that software like this really does bring to the user. It significantly positively impacted me while I've had access to it. Next, I want to talk about the price of FSD, but first, you're going to hear from the video sponsor.
As you may have noticed from this video, I've recently moved into a new space, and one of the first things that I did was set up my office, and for that, I needed a new office chair. Luckily, Vanspace reached out to send me this office chair and sponsor this video so I could show you about it and tell you about why it works great for my office. The setup and assembly was fairly simple, taking about 35 minutes for me, and it was pretty easy in my relatively confined space. The chair has a 22-inch wide comfort seat with high-density memory foam and a raw cotton layer with inner spring cushioning for soft and supportive seating. The space-saving armrests are great for my smaller space where they swivel and lock upright, so I can tuck myself under the desk completely. It supports up to 450 pounds with its heavy-duty build. It's got a sturdy metal base and a Class 3 gas cylinder for maximum stability and safety. This chair also has tilt and tension control, so you can adjust the seat height, recline angle, and tilt resistance for personalized comfort. One pretty interesting thing about this chair is that it has adjustable lumbar support. I haven't really seen adjustable lumbar support of this type in a chair that looks like this. When I turn this knob, the lumbar area actually expands and provides more support, and then you can also, turn the knob the other way and provide less support. Pretty interesting. Overall, I've really enjoyed having this office chair in this new space. The wheels slide comfortably, it spins well, everything is adjustable and modular, and it would work very well if I were much bigger as well. I don't know why companies keep sending me big and tall office chairs, but I'm glad I give off that energy. It is really quite comfortable for working at home, long gaming sessions, and I did have someone sit in it, and their first thought was, oh wow, this is a very comfortable chair. So if you want to learn more about this Vanspace office chair, check out the product link in the description down below. There's an Amazon link and a 30% off coupon code. All of that information in the description. Thank you very much to Vanspace for sponsoring this video. And now, back to the content.
So when thinking about the price of FSD, you have two options: $99 a month or $8,000 flat out. The $99 a month could change up or down at any given notice. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, if you drive the car, for 6 years, it'll be cheaper or whatever. But there is a real chance that, FSD gets really good in the future and they charge $200 or $400 a month for it. When you can, for example, like sleep in the car, if that ever happens. So if you have the ability to buy it outright, there is actually a decent argument in doing that. I've seen a lot of people say like, oh, never buy it outright because the value proposition is just not worth it. But thinking into the future, it could be worth it. I mean, there are people who bought FSD for $2,000 who have since transferred to their newer cars and have it for basically life. I don't know if they will let you keep transferring it to new cars, but they've paid $2,000 once for the software. I think $8,000 is very expensive. I'm really not a fan of paying $8,000 for any software that isn't directly making me money, to be honest. But in my case, FSD does actually make me money because I can make videos about it. I can use it to manage a rental property. I can do all of these sorts of things with less stress, more reliability, and just it makes things like that easier for me. So I'm like a rare-ish case that I can write parts of FSD off of my taxes. I can make videos and monetize those videos, and it becomes sort of like this business expense and all that sort of stuff. I do want to talk about that $8,000 price point though. I do think that in the United States, there's a chance that they lower the cost of FSD in the short term, especially because after the EV tax credit goes away, and it's slated to go away at the end of this month. So if you are looking to buy a Tesla or any other EV, this is definitely the month to do it. If you want, you can use my referral link in the description down below. But I do think that there is a chance because Tesla's under so much pressure right now. Their revenue has not been as good as previous years. Their sales have generally been declining. I think this quarter is going to be a fantastic quarter for Tesla because so many people like me rushed out to buy one before the tax credit goes away. But after that, they're going to be in a huge slump. Like, they're going to need incentives to drive sales. One of those incentives is a new Model Y that has no glass roof and is way cheaper, probably around $35,000. And the other incentive is software, right? Tesla can make money on things that are not hardware, which is kind of rare for a car company or a company that sells cars. And so if Tesla can increase the take rate on FSD, they can do it two ways. One, they can make FSD so much better, so that everybody's gonna need to use it and buy it. I think the likelihood of that happening in the short term, like the very short term, is not that high. I think most FSD improvements are, it's at the point where it's incremental enough now where only major things like being able to sleep or like having the car drive itself without the person in it are really going to drive that up, because version 13 is good enough. For most people, if they were going to buy it, they're probably already considering buying it right now. And the other way that they could increase the amount of people that pay for FSD and overall increase their revenue and profits is by reducing the price. On a recent earnings call, they said that only like 50% of people who have access to FSD have even turned it on, right? Like most people, when they see something like this in a car or whatever, they ignore it. They don't actually care. Like, I know, if you're a tech person or if you're a Tesla person in particular, you probably think that like everybody who owns a Tesla probably has some interest in FSD, blah, blah, blah. No, a lot of people, this is just a car, right? To a lot of people, Teslas are just cars. They are great commuter cars. They do a good job. They're reasonably priced nowadays. So it's just a car. Not everyone's going to care about that sort of stuff. And if people don't like really care that much, they're certainly not going to care about something that costs $8,000. Like, when's the last time you just bought something for $8,000 that you weren't like super excited or interested in? And that's the case for most people who own Teslas. I think that there's a chance. I have no idea if this will happen, but I do think that there's a chance that after the tax credit goes away in the US, to try to pad their revenue and increase profits, and try to like increase or like maintain profits, they're going to start really pushing software driven stuff because it has good margins, and they may reduce the price of FSD or like put it on sale or something like that. I'm sure that would give a big boost. And so I'm possibly like, what I'm thinking is, if the price of FSD goes down at all, I'll probably just buy it. If it doesn't, I'm going to be cautious about it, but maybe still buy it by the end of the year. We'll see. But I mean, like, this was a decent drive. Like, it was a complicated drive, like lots of unprotected left turns, other cars, traffic lights, stop signs, like so much stuff was going on. And this car did it, I wouldn't say flawlessly, but very, very well. Like, this is a comfortable experience. This isn't like some awful feeling system like previous versions of FSD were. This is useful. This is usable and useful. And it's just really got me thinking that, I think I might get FSD now. I think this is the time for me personally where FSD starts to actually make sense. And I'll say, like, there's still so many issues that I do have with FSD. Just because I'm buying it or thinking about buying it doesn't mean that, like, it's got my full, complete endorsement. I think it still makes sense. I think it still makes too many mistakes. I think that on the highway, it's not a very courteous driver. It likes to hug the passing lane. It likes to hog the passing lane, and, that gets really annoying to people. All right, so I'm going to have to manually park too. So here's another area that, like, FSD often does not automatically just park into a space, but I will take control, then I will press park, so then it starts to automatically park. So I have to manually initiate that process instead of it just finding a space on its own, which was supposed to be coming like a long time ago. There's a car in front of us, which makes this a little bit more complicated, but overall I think auto park does a pretty good job. Same thing, be attentive. But yeah, there's still so many issues with FSD. But if this drive, that went oddly over the, typically it doesn't like go over, yeah, see, that was strange. See, they're like weird things like this. Like, it's 100% not perfect. This is not a perfect system. And I have so many issues with it. Like it's not always the most courteous driver, and like it changes lanes too often. The lane decision making isn't always the best, because then it'll like change lanes when it has to turn left and then change right back, and sometimes it takes too long to get into the exit lane on the highway or get close to it. Like there are a lot of like these small things that are really frustrating. I do find myself using the turn signal to like initiate a lane change a decent amount in FSD on the highway on those like longer 2+ hour drives. But if you didn't know that this car could do this, now you know. I think I have gotten to the point where I am almost forgetting how like incredible that a $40,000 car that you can just buy right now can just do what it just did. Yeah, I think I'm like probably gonna buy FSD at this point.